Hello, lovelies. I am Sharni Quinn, and today I am interviewing the amazing Sethu Mahana. And today we're going to chat about women in the workplace and challenges that we face, obstacles that we still might need to overcome. We've come so far, but there's still a few challenges to really be navigating so we can be successful in all areas of our lives. And I'm so excited to have Sethu here so we can have this beautiful conversation. And before I really welcome Sethu, I just want to introduce you. So let's read her bio. So Sethu is a qualified makeup artist, founder, and chief fabulosity officer at New Cosmetics. Originally from East London, she discovered her passion for makeup in 2012 while working for a corporate company. But her passion grew so much and her vision just expanded, and eventually Nubian Cosmetics was born. So, as a Nubian queen and makeup artist, Setu's philosophy is simple: makeup should be natural, quick, and enhance your already beautiful features without the hassle or mess. Her makeup products give clients a flawless boost of confidence that allow them to show up as their best authentic selves. And Nubian Cosmetics is for the everyday person, inclusive of all genders and races, while embracing their flaws and being comfortable in their own skin. Sure. Well, welcome. Welcome, Sethu. It is so wonderful to have you here today.
Thank you, Shani. When you read it, I'm like, yo, are you talking about me?
No, it's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Thank you.
Sounds amazing. And what you've created is just absolutely phenomenal. So I'm very excited to just chat to you about your own journey and also, how you're really inspiring other women in the corporate world as well. So, yeah, let's get into the first question. Tell me a little bit about your story. Where did you come from, first of all?
Sure, I'm from East London, like the bio says. So East London is a very small town. And believe it or not, I was actually a tomboy. So all my cousins are boys, grew up, riding bicycles, playing on the street, climbing trees. I've got a few scars to show for that. And so what happened was my mom was worried about me that I'm behaving very boy-like. And she took me to a modeling school, which you can call it a grooming school back then, where we're taught how to be a lady, which then made me a pageant girl. So I entered those pageants, and I think that aligned nicely with the space that I'm in now. So for me, owning a makeup brand and being in the beauty space, it was like almost like a perfect fit because what we went through, especially back then, it was a lot. And yeah, I think as we have the interview, I'll maybe share a little bit of snippets about it. But I think that's basically me. I'm based in Joburg, so after matric, I'm like the town was too small, moved to Joburg, studied here, and I've never gone back.
Incredible. And yeah, for me, I've also grown up in Johannesburg. So I know the city and it is a bustling city and there's so much happening. So it's so wonderful to be there now and really expand your career and be able to really connect with all the women that are there, living the city lifestyle that all want to look glamorous and beautiful. So how did you get to where you are now today in your career?
So obviously, you study, you graduate, you start working in corporate, and the honest truth that I always knew that I wanted to be. I always would call it a soccer mom. I wanted to control my mom, wanted to have a family, raise my kids. So for me, climbing the corporate ladder wasn't exactly my dream. And what happened in corporate, it actually persuaded me, actually even pushed me to say, this is not your calling, this is not your purpose. There are things in corporate that you need to do or you have to do to succeed. And really, it wasn't me, it wasn't who I am. So I started, trying to always say, try to find a hobby that can make you money. And for me, it was between two hobbies. Then I was a runner, had dreams of running the comrades one day, believe it or not. And I was also was involved in the beauty pageants, like I say, in the beauty world. I mean, I was always that girl where people asked, I'm going to an event, what should I wear? How should I do my hair? What lipstick? What's the in thing in fashion, etc. So those were my two core, I'm going to call it hobbies. And it so happened that where I worked, that was actually one of the biggest beauty schools in Joburg that was like down the road. I registered for a course, and I think the rest is history. So that's when I actually studied makeup artistry, became a makeup artist. And what used to happen was that lots of people used to then ask me, oh, what did you use? Where can I buy it? And it happened so often that I actually thought maybe I should start selling these things, because then I used to give, oh, you can have it. Oh, take it. I'll buy another one. No, don't pay me. It's fine. I'm like, my husband is like, you know. And the reason why it was so difficult for the ladies to go buy was because we used to mix, foundations, because we never had the perfect match. There's no such thing as a perfect match, but we try and match foundations to the closest possible color. And that's also when my research started, to actually finding the nice foundation for brown skin, and especially South African skin, because the sun does weird and wonderful things to our skin. It's a pity I'm wearing a covered dress, because what you will see is that I'm a different tone here versus my arms and my face. So you're almost three tones, because your sun will hit you here where you burn. I also burn very easily, so I'll go very brown. So we needed a foundation that could, cover certain spots and still look natural and beautiful. And that's when I guess Nubian was how Nubian was born.
That's amazing. I love that story. And yeah, just so beautiful how you transitioned and how you really listened to yourself and what was right for you and really pursuing your purpose and your passion. So yeah, well done for having the courage to be able to do that.
Thank
And
you.
I love that you're focusing back on in the corporate world now, though, and working back in the corporate industry, but doing it in a different way. So now you're going in and you are doing makeup workshops for the ladies and showing them how to, support them in looking their best version of their best selves. And I think it's brilliant. I mean, how amazing to be able to have a workshop in your everyday, corporate life. And then here comes Sethu with her glamorous self and bringing in all this beautiful makeup and teaches you how to actually do the makeup for yourself. So I think it's an amazing opportunity for corporates to bring you in for a workshop. And actually, Sethu, like that's how Sethu and I met. We were on a course together and really connected. And I love this idea of us being able to, chat today, but also how can we then integrate this and move forward and support everybody in the corporate world, where you focusing very much on, how to look your beautiful self on the outside. I'm focusing very much on how to be your best self and feel your happiest self on the inside. And we both know that when you look good on the outside, you feel good on the inside. And when you're feeling good on the outside, you're radiating on the outside. So it's like it's this beautiful synergy. And I love that you and I are both really focusing on corporate now and the corporate women and how we can really support them to just elevate and shine and be their best selves. So yeah, so tell us a little bit more about the workshops that you're doing and what you're doing in the corporate world now.
Sure. A funny backstory. I think one of my ex-colleagues reminded me when I had a workshop was that I actually used to test foundations in the parking lot at work. I was like, oh my goodness, do you remember? So actually, Nubian did start, in corporate. And what I found is, and then what I found was that makeup just gives you a certain level of confidence. I think everybody knows that when you're going to an interview, you want to look your best. You want to feel your best because, like it or not, first impressions do last. And you do get that by how you look, how you dress, and how you actually carry yourself. There's a video that I posted of my ex-boss, who was a CMO at that time, so I was a marketer. And she says she remembers what I was wearing when I came to speak to her about me moving to her division. She says, I remember the dress you were wearing and how you looked and how confident you were. And and it's funny how she saw me in that light, because inside, I was trembling, I was scared, I was shaking, I was nervous. There was a change that was happening in the company, and my boss was leaving. She said, "Okay, Sethu, what is your plan? What are your next steps? What are your goals? I know you're studying more courses in digital marketing, but I'm not going to be here, so I'm not going to be here to hold your hand." So I was a junior marketing assistant at the time. And I was like, "Oh, I'm still studying. I'm not sure." She's like, "No, we don't have time for that." And he actually simplified it for me and said, "Okay, whose job do you want?" So you're looking at the
Wow.
corporate in the company, where do you see yourself? So name the person, and I did. So at the time, it was I wanted to be in marketing. So I was a campaign manager working with the call centers, doing all the direct marketing. I'm like, I want to be in brand. Within brand marketing, it's like, okay, we're going to speak to the brand manager and we'll speak to the CMO because ultimately we want to be in the team. So that's when she told me that story. And for me, it says a lot. If she remembers that story about how I looked, and I mean this, I think it's over 10 years ago now. So for me, it's proof that how you look actually leaves a lasting impression in people's mind. And
It
she also
really,
said it felt very important because she asked me, why you look, because I was at work because I was running around. I used to wear jeans and a t-shirt. And I think marketers know that there's always an event, there's always something happening, so always running around. And she asked me, you look so beautiful, I love your dress, what's a special occasion? And I said to her, because I'm coming to see you. And that's why
wow.
she remembers that until this day.
That's incredible. And like you said, what we wear and how we present ourselves makes such a lasting impression on people. And if we can just spend a little bit of time and energy and effort on presenting ourselves in that best way possible, then it makes such a big difference. So I love that you are now, yeah, doing workshops in the corporate world and showing women how to present themselves in their best light. So that's just really incredible. And yeah, hopefully you and I get to do some workshops together. That'll be so much fun.
No, we will because, like you said, it's the outer and the inner. So if you're doing the inner work, because that's what it's a balance. There's no, one that's more important than the other. I mean, I could have dressed my best and didn't have the confidence and didn't feel good inside, and I wouldn't have gotten it, and vice versa. And one thing I can say, especially in our industries, is that the people you talk to in corporate, they need to see, you need to gain their trust and they need to see that they can trust you. You can look at your CV and your experience, which is great. But some industries, especially in sales and mine, it's how you present yourself when they see that. And we are entrusted with big monies, I mean, with big budgets. So how I'm going to trust you if you're scared, you're shy, you're not presenting yourself confidently, how are you going to present the company, or your clients? So those two work hand in hand.
It's so true. And yeah, we need to have this certain confidence and that inner, that inner confidence and value ourselves and know our worth and all of those things that are so important and people don't realize that these are skills that we really need in our job. And you and I were chatting about this recently and just saying, the challenges at the moment for women is that we very much or the corporate world in general is very much in this masculine energy of push and strive and achieve and succeed. And whereas as women, our superpower is actually in our femininity and in our being gentle and being in our beautiful feminine space. So I would love to chat to you about that now and just say, well, really ask you, what do you feel like are the biggest challenges for women now in the workplace?
I think the biggest thing I feel like it's the buzzword right now. It's the imposter syndrome. But if you break it down, what does it mean? What is it? And I think it differs from person to person. But basically, it just means you don't feel you worthy. It's like me taking that step and feeling I'm gonna go talk to the CMO and say I want to work in your team. I felt like, no, I haven't finished studying, there are other people, and just not being sure of myself and being confident enough to do it. So, imposter syndrome, I think, is one of the biggest things. I hear a lot of women talking about not speaking up in meetings because you're scared. And I think I was one of those as well. I've gone through that way. I'm in a meeting and I'm thinking something, but before I say someone else has said it. So that's one thing. Talking about, education experience that we have in the bag. I mean, women are extremely educated, So that's a tick, and that confidence that men have, and I think the concern is they have so much confidence, they believe in themselves, and now we're trying or we want to imitate them. And I think that's where we're losing the plot, because that means we're not being true to who we are, and ourselves, because now we want, because when you walk in a room, men have these deep voices, and once they speak, everybody listens. So we want to try and have that attitude, and it's not us. So like you said, our power is being feminine and it's being who we are. And I think love and kindness, once you show it, sometimes it does shock people, when you're just being kind, and especially also if you're a leader and you're just kind. I know this, also from my ex bosses, where they will bring me the coffee. They say, but I was getting coffee for myself. I'll get it, and it leaves such a lasting impression that this person is also human. Because I think at the end of the day, we're all human, and I think being kind is a superpower that we have, and that we shouldn't shy away from embracing it and showing it. And obviously, I mean, women, we're pretty. We are like roses. So sometimes what I find is that, there needs to be a balance where women don't wear makeup because they feel people are gonna focus on how they look more than what's here. And that's not always the case, and it's not always true. I think it's actually an added benefit when you're looking good, because you're the face. My husband always says it's the window to the world. It's what people see, and that's what we should embrace. So I think I wrote this down. Remember what the challenges we're facing. And sometimes I know with me, just because now you look beautiful and you've got a voice and people listen, we tend to let people dim our light. We tend to sometimes shy away from speaking out, shy away from not being ourselves, because we're scared that we're gonna outshine people, and we just don't want to shine our own. And I don't know where this comes from, where we don't want, to be ourselves and shine. We want to be. I remember I was speaking to someone like, we in my team, and this lady said, "Who's we, Sethu? Aren't you the CEO? Aren't you the marketing director? Aren't you this?" I'm like, okay. And we need to own it. I think we need to own ourselves holistically, because it's who you are. I have so many, I guess, attributes that we have that are great, that we just need to own and let them shine.
Oh, that is so beautiful, so beautiful. And you really have listed like some incredible challenges that are very pertinent at this time in history. And I mean, I know just working with my coaching clients, on burnout prevention, and I had a client in South Africa working at one of the big banks, and she actually had to take 3 months leave or sabbatical because she was so burnt out. And it was interesting because during that time she rested and things, but she didn't really heal because she didn't have the tools and the mindset coaching really to get her into a different space. As soon as we started coaching together, it was amazing to see her transformation. And her biggest thing was that she was keeping herself small, and that she wasn't speaking up, and she wasn't saying those things that she was thinking in her head, and then somebody else would say them because she was too scared to speak up in the board meetings. And she had so much value to share. She's been in the company for 15 years. So there is a trend of women who we tend to keep ourselves small. We don't want to shine too bright. And that is something, and especially I find it's actually interesting because in Australia, with me, I've worked internationally, so it's really wonderful working with all these different people from different cultures and different places. And in Australia and in the UK, it's called tall poppy syndrome, where nobody wants anyone to kind of stand out too much and to shine too. Everybody must just be the same and just be mediocre, really. And it's something that we really need to, I believe, we really need to get over from, that mindset. And when you look at the Americans, they are just have so much confidence, and they walk into a room and they just light the whole room up. So, and I find as South Africans, sometimes we tend to keep ourselves small, don't speak up. And as women, we have so much value that we can share. And as you said, there's a little bit of kindness or looking at things in a different way And also, women, one of our superpowers is our intuition. So to come into a board meeting and be able to speak from a place of intuition, not just out of from our heads and the facts and the stats, and then we can merge this masculine and feminine together. Like, how powerful would companies be then? So for me, it's like looking at the companies in general and really enhancing this feminine power and the women in the workplace. I think it's so powerful and it can really change and make such a big difference in the world. So yeah, thank you for those incredible challenges. So in your opinion, what is the like a myth? Let's talk about myths in the workplace. What do you think is a common myth that is coming up that might not be true?
I think a common one is that women don't support each other. I mean, look at
Mm.
us right now. I think that's a big one. But also, being honest, I will say it's 80-20. I believe in the 80-20 rule. So that it does happen, is there, so let's not just brush that away. But we do. I mean, my business supported probably 98% by women because they see the value, of what I bring into the corporate space or into their personal lives. So women not supporting the other, it's a big, 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 big myth. I remember also in my company also, we didn't hold hands because we knew that people were going to be looking at us funny. But with my boss, we used to sit next to each other, have a notepad, and write notes to each other. Who's speaking now? And what she used to do is when people are asking questions, she used to answer, well, that's not my project. I don't know what's going on there. Sethu will, expand on it, or Sethu will explain. And it used to shock a lot of people, because she was almost, some people would feel that she's taking away her power because she's exposing herself that it's not a project, it's not what it's doing. And I think that's what used to happen previously, or, previous generations or corporates. I have no idea. But that was our superpower. She knew what my strengths were and vice versa. So we were supporting each other in that manner. So I think, yeah, that's a big mix.
I love that. I love that. And it's so true. And when women are supporting women, sure, we are powerful. And as you said, it's about knowing what our personal strengths are because everybody's different. And when we
Yes.
have our personal strengths and we really harness those instead of trying to do everything for everybody all the time, then that's really powerful. So yeah, I really love that. And I mean, this is the thing with women nowadays as well, is that we feel like we have to be superwoman and we have to be able to do it all. And for me, it's really about focusing on certain areas, not trying to multitask, like really monotask and what are the things that we really want to focus on and keep that clarity going. But for me, success is really about being successful in all areas of our lives. So it's not just our work or financially, it really is our health as well, and our family, our homes, our relationships. How can we feel happy and content and at peace with all areas of our lives? And so I would love to ask you, what do you think it is that women need to master in order to be successful in all areas?
Sure, that's a loaded question. But I think, to be honest, we need to focus. The cycles. I feel like the cycle of life, where it's your personal life, it's family, it's work, it's corporate, and then even outside, your faith, etc., your religion, etc., etc. So I think at one point there will be one that is less than the other. So I feel like it's just keeping the balance and being okay if at this point in time you haven't been to church the whole month because you want to stay at home and look after your kids, or you don't not getting away and seeing your friends because something is happening. So for me, that is the balance. Balance doesn't mean you are a 10 out of 10 on everything. So, and also planning in advance, that this month or this season, this is a season I'm planting this and this, and this is what my focus, and then it's the next season. And I think that's what they mean by balance. And also knowing how to keep in check. For example, I have weekly self-love, self-care routines, so that I don't forget to look after me. I have date nights with my husband. I have play dates with my son. I have monthly braai or sessions with my friends at home, even if they happen every other month. So that is basically me trying to keep balance and wherever I can, going to church to keep the faith going as strong as well. I think that would be what I would call my secret, how I keep up. But at no point in time, any woman, I think you will drive ourselves crazy, where you would think everything, all your pillars of your life will be a 10 out of 10 in one go. I know I've got friends, for example, if you're studying an MBA, it's not dropping the ball if you are aware that you're going to miss out on social events, you're going to miss out on going to church, and you plan in advance that this is what I'm focusing on this season. It's going to be a year. I'm doing my MBA full time, and you plan in advance. I'll need a tutor for my kids every other night when I've got a gap. It's a date with my husband, there's kids, there's family, etc. So dropping the ball, I don't like that term because that's not the case, because nobody's perfect and you can never be that holistic at one point in time. And also being kind to ourselves. I think we need to be kind, we need to love ourselves more, and knowing that this is whatever I'm doing right now, I'm doing for my family, I'm doing for myself. And it's okay if you do miss, I don't know, that a birthday, because I know when I was studying makeup artist, still with a full-time job, I was attending class every single Saturday for a full year. So can you imagine the birthdays, the weddings, and all sorts of events that I missed during that year? And it's also making sure that people understand if I missed the birthday lunch, making it up at some other time, letting the person know in advance and not saying you will come and not pitch. So that's the planning plays a lot, and being kind and honest with self and your support system.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And I love the way you brought in seasons there because that's exactly what life is. We live in this cyclical world where there's seasons of, summer, winter, autumn, all of those things. And then there's seasons in our own life, there's seasons in our own month, especially as women. There's our own menstrual cycle. That's
I
a season where every month. So, and then looking at certain areas in our lives, we're going, okay, well, this is my summer season for this particular part of my life, but it then means that there's going to be a winter somewhere else. So it is just having that balance. And I totally agree with what you're saying. That's what balance is. It's not trying to be superwoman and have all those balls in the air and to be like 1,000% at every single one of them. It's like, what are we focusing on right now? And then how can you really honestly and openly communicate to people around you that, okay, this is now my winter season right now for this area of my life, and I'm not going to be able to show up as much as I normally do, but I'm just communicating that with you now so that you know. So yeah, and then we can really focus on those particular areas and not feel guilty, because I know mom guilt is a big thing, and female guilt, woman guilt. So how can you just show up the best way that you can and just keep on communicating along the way and being honest and kind to ourselves as well. So that's so beautiful. And I love that you have a self-care routine, looking after yourself and nurturing your relationship with your husband and your son. And it sounds like you live a very balanced life. So I'm very impressed.
try.
Yeah, well done. Okay, so what do you, and this is just our last question, but what piece of advice would you give to women going into the corporate world nowadays?
Sure. You need to be prepared, um, and be ready. So you're preparing yourself, let's say, education wise, and you're getting the experience. But in terms of, your other spheres in your life, your soul, your spirit, and physically. So what are you doing? So I know people say you go to gym, you run, you do yoga. I do Pilates. So what else are you doing to prepare yourself? Because not in a bit, but corporate is rough. I feel like corporate is like the military. And you get training. You get training before. Actually, in fact, there's even pre something in military. There's training before. There's training during. And I don't think it ever ends. And corporate is also like that. There's always programs and systems that you need to upgrade yourself. So what I do, what I would do, I would say the first thing would be coaching. You need a coach. You need a professional business coach. You need a life coach. Or you need, for me, I also I had therapy most of my corporate life. I think that's how I kept saying, even if it's once a month, when you are going through something, you can make it a weekly session or bi-weekly session. But that just kept me in check with who I am. And I mean, nowadays the buzzword is like traumas, childhood traumas, this traumas, and owning up to them, dealing with them, and the process of healing. Because once you've healed, you won't get triggered, because I feel like people get triggered in corporate, personally, outside. So you know what your triggers are, because you've come to know yourself holistically. And then I mentioned the physical activities, and also at work, the coaching and the training is very, very important. I think that's how I survived corporate. I mean, some people are still surprised. Why aren't you working? Why aren't you in corporate? Because, it was your thing. You were so great. And how did you manage all those things like you mentioned? Because I had coaches, I had training, and I was very physically active in my running and my sports and gym and that side of my life. And also my faith and religion is a very strong part of me. I feel like when everything is just going wrong, what do you do? So I think that is one advice I would say: get help. So sometimes it's such fancy words. We say go to therapy, get coaching, get help, get a support system, offload, get that friend, because I've got a rainbow of friends. I know who to talk to when I've got, relationship problem with friends or my husband. I know who to talk to when I've got financial issues. I know who to talk to if I'm training for a marathon or trying to go to gym. It's those friends. So try and get a support system that is balanced. You know who to talk to and who can support you in those different areas of your life. And I think you will be fine. I think just be kind to yourself. My husband always says, don't sweat the little things. Life is too short. Like he doesn't, he doesn't sweat the little things. I remember the one time, that's when we knew we are gonna get married. I got lost in London. We went off a wrong straight station, and we walked for almost 2 hours. When we got that thought, oh my, felt like Amazing Race. And when we're asking, people around, no, it's a block away, it's a block away, it's a block away. 2 hours. And when we got there, it's like, okay, one thing for sure is that we are going to get married. For some reason, that solidified our relationship because of what happened and what we went through. It felt like it was like a lifetime of things. But he said to me, and he always says, I don't sweat the little things. We made an honest mistake. I was there. I could have said, let's get on a bus, let's change this, let's do. I was there as well. So just be kind to yourself, love yourself, and don't sweat the little things.
Oh, I love that. And what a beautiful story. And yeah, it's like when you go through adversity and you have a really tough time, and we all do, it's life. This is how life works. But to know that you've got your person there that can support you and guide you through this process, I'm not surprised you married each other after that experience. But I love what you're saying about people being, like entering into the corporate world or surviving the corporate world, is that it's not all
Mm-hmm.
just about business, and it's not all just about the work that you're doing. It's actually doing the personal work on yourself as well, so that you can show up in the best way possible for your team, for your clients, for your company. And if you're not looking after yourself and you're not looking after your health and your spirituality or your faith and, yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, then you're not going to be doing the best job going forward. And so I love that you brought that in. And yeah, I mean, coaching is incredible. I've coached so many clients, as a life coach and as a business coach through a lot of challenging moments in their lives. And it's so rewarding to see them come out on the other side, and they are just like so vibrant and just so successful and all these amazing things. And it's just from a few little tweaks of maybe it's their health, or maybe there's something going on in their relationship, or something behind the scenes that's not always showing up at work. And if we can really focus on the behind the scenes ourselves and take responsibility for ourselves and how we show up in the world, then I mean, imagine if everybody did that in the corporate world and
Yeah,
in the whole world. It would
would
be
be a
amazing.
happy
Like there
place.
wouldn't be traumas because we all be like, okay, I've worked on that already. There are no triggers anymore. So if we could all just, yeah, really focus on being the best version of ourselves, I think that is such a beautiful piece of advice to give to people entering into the workspace. Yeah, thank you so much, Sethu. It's been so wonderful to chat with you. I feel like we can chat all day, but I suppose we're better in the call at some point. And
Okay.
I just wanted to ask, where can people get hold of you? Where's the best place for them to connect with you? And perhaps they're looking for corporate workshops or makeup. Where can they speak to you online? Or yeah, what is the best way to connect with you?
My website, so you can put in on the website. So it's nubiancosmetics.co.za, and all the social platforms is also Nubian Cosmetics underscore ZA. That's on Instagram and on Facebook. I've got a personal account on Twitter. That's the fun, nice stuff. Say to Mahana there. But for business, any business related corporate bookings, is the website nubiancosmetics.co.za.
Wonderful.
And thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for this opportunity. I hope we'll have another one maybe towards the end of the year. Hopefully, we'll get to work together between now and then and see how it goes. Thank you so much.
Well, just having this conversation is getting me very excited for beautiful opportunities and such a great combination of, as we were saying, the internal beauty and the external beauty and that inner peace and confidence and how that radiates out and how when you look good on the outside, you feel good on the inside and all these amazing yeah, just I feel like this collaboration is really powerful. So thank you so much for your time, Setsu. It's been really wonderful to chat, and I will definitely add in all your details in the notes on this video and on this recording. So yeah, if anybody wants to connect with Setsu, please find her there. And you can find me at sharniquinn.com as well, and Sharni Quinn Wellness on Instagram. And look forward to many more powerful and amazing experiences and events together, Setsu. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.